Hey, good evening, and welcome to a live conversation with some of the talented creatives behind Hulu's existential comedy, Palm Springs. The time loop film, which resonates differently in our current reality of living the same monotonous day over and over, was acquired out of Sundance by Neon and Hulu before the entire world went into lockdown. It then went on to deliver the highest opening weekend viewership ever for a film on Hulu. Check it out.
It's gonna be a beautiful wedding.
Here you are, standing on the precipice of something so much bigger than anyone here. But always remember, you are not alone.
I don't think that we met. I'm Sarah.
Niles.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice.
Run, rabbit, run!
Niles?
Don't come in here!
What the?
It's gonna be a beautiful wedding.
Good day so far? Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
What is going on? Hey, get out of the water!
Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about.
Yeah. The second you fall asleep, it all just goes back to the start.
I drove all the way back home to Austin, and I still woke up here.
One time I smoked a bunch of crystal and made it all the way to Equatorial Guinea. It was a huge waste of time.
Well, then what's the point of living?
We kind of have no choice but to live.
No, I'm gonna get out of this.
Suit yourself. See you tomorrow.
So now what do we do?
You just have to embrace the fact that nothing matters.
Do you sleep with people in here?
Great question. I have, but it takes a lot of work. May I cut in? It's the first dance. And that's a deal breaker?
That didn't work? Let's waste some time.
This is crazy!
You want to dance? You know the officiant? He's got a bag of sweets in his pocket.
You were right. Got him.
I can't keep waking up in here. Everything that we are doing is meaningless.
I hope it's not all meaningless.
At least you have each other. Nothing worse than going through this shit alone.
Stop! There's a bomb in the cake. Don't worry. I used to be a bomb guy. Stand back!
It's gonna be a beautiful wedding.
Throughout tonight's conversation, please feel free to utilize the chat feature, submit your questions. I'll ask those, towards the end. So now let's welcome screenwriter Andy Ciara, actors J.K. Simmons and Kristen Milioti, and actor-producer Andy Samberg. Hey, guys.
Hi.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, Camille.
Doing good.
Relaxed and chill.
What a chill eve for a panel.
Yeah, totally. This is definitely the one thing that's on everyone's minds right now.
Yeah,
Palm Springs.
how we came up with and executed this film.
Yeah.
Right, I know. There's a lot of polling about, whose idea it was.
Right.
Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's a slow week.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the news needs something to talk about, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Put on a bone.
I want to say I love this movie so much. I texted Andy because I just rewatched it a couple days ago, and to me this movie is like full of joy right from the beginning. It's one of those rare movies that like really knows what it is. It like knows its tone, and right from the beginning, when you're watching a really great movie, I feel like in the first 30 seconds, like you feel safe. That's how I felt watching this movie. So I just want to congratulate you guys. I told Andy that I got very upset at how good the movie is the first time I saw it, and then even more upset that it was better the second time I watched it.
You should probably not watch it again.
No, I'm done. I'm never watching this again. I don't want to feel worse about myself and the work I do.
Liz.
So how do you guys describe this movie to someone who hasn't seen it? Do you tell them about the time loop? For me, I didn't know what it was. So part of the joy of it was discovering what the premise was.
Yeah, we tried really hard. I mean, we succeeded at Sundance in not
Yeah.
giving up that aspect of it. And then once it became something that like had to have a trailer cut, it kind of became impossible. Like we kept being like, could we try an edit where you don't show that part of it? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say,
Yes.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go ahead, Kristen.
I was gonna say the other thing that we do, like in press that we've done, because I feel like to describe the film, so many people are like, so it's a rom-com, right? And like there is love in there, but I think of it as more of an existential comedy, personally.
I like that. And
Yeah.
and obviously the movie was made before we're in this sort of quarantine lockdown period, and then when it came out, the world had completely changed. So Andy CR, do you want to talk about writing the script, where you got the idea, and how does it feel releasing it in a time when it feels in some ways more current than you anticipated?
Yeah, writing it. I went to I met Max, the director, at AFI for film school, and then we wanted to do our first movie together when we finished up, and we were just like, I'll write it, you direct it, let's come up with the idea together. We didn't really know what it was going to be, so we went out to Palm Springs. Like, we both have an affinity for the place. We're both Southern California kids. And then we had our version of a Lost Weekend. It was a very PG Lost Weekend, because I'm kind of terrified of hard drugs. And yeah,
So just
I'm not
the
fun
softer
at all.
drugs.
Yeah, the soft drugs. Out of that weekend,
But for him, a soft drug is heroin, so hard drugs is real.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Got
Damn.
it.
there's no
Just
psychedelics
not too
or
much.
anything like that. Yeah.
No, bath salts.
Um,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't give people ideas. Come on.
Don't knock
Croco-
it. No, don't knock
crocodile.
it
Yeah.
till you try it.
yeah, out of that weekend, we had the kernel of an idea and of who this character was, and of Niles, and the kind of journey that we take this character from caring about nothing in the world to kind of finding purpose and caring about something, like finding meaning in a meaningless world. So like the first version of the movie was more of like our absurdist comedic version of Leaving Las Vegas, where he goes out to Palm Springs to kill himself and he just can't do it, and that was just bad. Then it didn't work.
That's what
And-
Leaving Las Vegas is about?
He goes to Las Vegas to
It's a laugh fest.
Yeah,
I think I was
Spoiler.
confusing it with the one where he's an angel.
yeah.
Go on.
It's
Sorry.
You're thinking
City
of-
of Angels.
City of Angels, which is not
City
like
of
Oh,
Vegas.
okay.
Angels. City of Angels. Is Nicolas Cage in that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Sorry, Andy, continue.
It's a remake of a German movie
Mhm.
called Wings of
Okay,
Desire.
thank you.
Anyway,
I
Wim
like
Wenders.
that.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Listen, I just want to show my highbrow credentials. Sorry, Andy CR.
Sorry.
Over the years, the thing just evolved into some kind of weird meditation on love and commitment and depression and marriages and alcoholism and kind of everything under the umbrella, and eventually became this time loop at a wedding in Palm Springs. And it didn't start out that way, but I was working on this other TV show at the time, Lodge 49. So I'd go work and put the script away and then come back to it, and the various things that were happening in my life or happening in Max's life during that time kind of influenced the script. And we'd get into a room and kind of acted as each other's therapists in a way, and just the purpose of making each other laugh. And this was also exactly 4 years ago, when the story kind of crystallized and Niles' point of view on life, that nothing fucking matters anymore, kind of it became a little more clear, and that's when the time loop stuff came in. So there's really not one nice profound way of coming up or describing how the movie came up, but that's roughly what it was.
Yeah, I really liked, obviously the time loop thing is something we've seen before, but I feel like this movie comes at it in a completely different way than any of the other things I've seen. One of the innovations is all three characters stuck in it. One's been stuck in it when the movie starts. One, we watch the joy of being stuck in it. And then all three of their relationships to the loop are different. So as you were saying, Andy Samberg's character is sort of defeated in the loop. Kristen's character is trying to escape it. And then JK's character actually finds wholeness, completeness in the loop. I thought that was a very interesting and cool thing, that everybody has a different way of engaging with the loop.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Well, and that was what appealed to me ultimately when I first read the script. I mean, the first thing that appealed to me was working with Andy because he's cool and all that.
Yeah, we're buddies.
But yeah, was seeing Roy in his Irvine, you know, and having really embraced the whole thing was really a great payoff for the character, I thought.
Such a great
Yeah, it's a really beautiful ending. I really loved it. It's also, you know, it's a movie that really loves all its characters, even the flawed ones. You know, I thought that had a very like generous spirit towards everybody in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree also.
Yeah.
It's what it's what was so exciting about the script, where you read it and you feel all of the things at once. You know, like I'm always the most excited about something like that, where it actually, obviously, you know, we don't have any concrete proof of time loops existing, but emotionally, life is, for me at least, the way that the movie is, which is it's sad and funny and happy and excruciating and angry, and it's all of those things. And something that miraculously happens in the script is it sort of blends all of those emotions together, and also a bunch of different genres together, but somehow comes out the other side feeling like its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that the ending was just so sweet. I wrote down this line because the movie is very funny. It's surprising. It's got a lot of like reveals, but when you do have that exchange, what if we get sick of each other? We're already sick of each other. It's the best. I was like, oh no. Oh, that's how I feel.
Like every relationship ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andy, how did this movie come to you? You're one of the producers of it?
Yes, I got sent it to check out to see if I was interested, and I loved it. And I had Andy Ciara and Max come meet with me and Becky Sloviter, who was our point producer on the movie from our Lonely Island company. And we just kind of all hit it off, and that was it. We were like, we want to produce it and I want to act in it. And we just started working on, you know, developing the script a little more, and then went out to try and get financing, and we were on our way.
And Kristen, how did you join?
I joined because I met with Becky and Andy on something completely unrelated. It was like a what should have been a soulless general. You know, when you like go in.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be like for half an hour about whether to like act in something together or write something, and we ended up talking for 3 hours and had the best time. And I had no idea about this script at all. And then they sent it to me a couple days later, and I loved it. And then I didn't hear anything for many months, and I thought it was gone. And then it came back.
Yes.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, you made her sweat. Great. Good work, Andy.
We were securing financing.
I know
That's
what
the
you
job
were
of a producer.
doing. Yeah. I didn't know then, though. But yeah, now I know.
And JK, you went through 5 rounds of auditions, I assume?
I did. I went in for a casting assistant initially. This was like 4 years ago. No, I was just ruminating on the soulless general, which is basically the character people keep asking me to play now, but I keep saying I'm not interested. No, they just, you know, Andy and I have known each other for
Yeah.
And they just sent me the script, you know, later in the process, because they didn't want me to sweat because that's mostly reserved for the younger actors.
It's a respect thing.
Yeah. So they sent me the script, and I said, I think it's good. So can I be in it? And by the way, it shoots in Southern California, which is a bonus because that's where my family and I live. So win-win.
I believe when I texted you about it, JK, I led with, we got the California tax rebate, so you won't have to leave the state.
I know. That's how I make decisions. What kind of call times are we looking at here? What's the commute like? You know, one thing I noticed watching it again is there's a lot of funny stuff in the movie that then pays off later, like the orchid explosion by Fournier. It's like just like a funny little detail that then becomes like a big plot point. Was that sort of a decision you guys made to That's my question.
The script originally, it was a different name.
The Victor and Rolf Flowerbaum. It's a
Right.
real,
Yeah.
real.
Which I didn't realize until we were in pre-production is a real thing. So then we were told, oh, we
You don't
can't
know your
call it that.
sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I don't know my sense. Not as well as Niles. So then we had to come up with a fake one. And then
Those were great conversations. But like pitch in the rehearsal of like, it could be, I imagine it's how actual advertising is.
Right, you're a gray advertising. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Andy and Max were just texting about some of the rejected ones. When
Do
we were
you have
trying to
some?
those. I think I have a few.
Great.
I probably should have been more ready.
It'll be on the DVD extras.
No, I'm just
it'll
scrolling
just be
through.
footage of Andy scrolling through his phone on the DVD extras.
Okay,
being like,
okay,
I got it.
I found it.
It's in
it.
here. It's
Right.
Belly exposed.
Fetid petunia.
belly
There
exposed.
was Gambardella hair mist, Parfum de la Terre, Fleur de la Terre, Bonfils hair mist, which I liked. Bouchard hair mist was a finalist.
Bouchard.
I can't pronounce a lot of these, Ciara. I don't know French. But yeah, some good stuff.
But not as good as the one you
But
ended
not
up
as good. Yeah.
Orchid Explosion by Fournier is the best.
It
Yeah.
made us giggle. And then bringing it back made it even more annoying and funny.
Yeah.
So I talked about the tone of the movie earlier. You know, it sort of does all these things where you mentioned it's like funny, really romantic. A premise like this and a central character like this, there's the sort of fear that because he's like sort of depressed. So how do you make a movie with a sort of a depressed central character and have it feel so buoyant and fun and funny?
I mean, to me, it speaks to the writing again. The way that it read to me was making the decision to have it start out where it seems like Niles is like the master of his universe and like so zen and chill about everything is funny to start with and feels more up and kind of positive. And then as it slowly becomes clear that he's completely broken, that is also to me very funny. Like someone who's been living the same day for so long that they just fucking give up and are just like, I'm going to drink a beer and float on that. And I'm not going to do anything else. Like that was making me giggle a lot of like, I hadn't ever seen exactly that tone played before. And it did strike that balance.
Right. And so Kristen, how did it feel sort of playing, you know, you get to do so many different things in the movie, romantic, funny, pretty intense.
Yeah.
How did it feel, you know, sort of playing everything along the
I mean,
spectrum?
that was one of the things that I got so, or that I was so excited about, was that you do get to see like the full spectrum of a human being. And similarly to Niles's journey, like you meet her and you have this idea of who she is. And I also think that this movie is like a beautiful representation of depression, and like that she is also a depressive and like so like boiled in her own shame and can't get out of her
Right.
way, but like wants to blame every single person around her. And I think that, I don't know, I was so intrigued by that because I think that we all experience that in a myriad of ways throughout our lives, depending on where we are in our life. And I thought that was so beautifully represented, but like not with a heavy hand. And it sort of is like, it kind of goes in with what is happening in the world. That's how it feels when you're in those states. You feel like every single day is the same and that there's no possible way you could ever break through it. So,
yeah, by the way, I watched your episode of Mythic Quest and it was so
yeah.
good. You're so,
Thank
so
you.
good in it. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I love that. I love that episode so much. I watched it twice in a row.
You
I watched
did?
It.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, my wife family came home and I was like, you gotta watch this. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that is such a sad, that episode is so sad. It's like,
really
so I was
sad.
so proud of Rob because he doesn't always, you know, people associate him with Always Sunny, obviously, but like he makes this beautiful, sad short film about a married couple that gets divorced, but you see them in their beautiful early days of like how in love they are with each other and how they fuel each other. And then you see it crumble and it's so sad.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
JK, your
I haven't
character
seen
gets
it.
Oh, you gotta see it. You gotta see it. You
That's
gotta see
okay.
it.
I haven't seen Pop
Um,
Star. That's also about a marriage that
Hey,
dissolves.
never
correct?
stop, never stopping.
Yeah,
You gotta see Pop Star. It's
I'm
She
gonna see
hasn't seen
it.
so
anything.
funny.
She's
I've
seen
seen-
Adam's Family Values, and that's it.
It's
She
very
hasn't seen
good.
Die
Adam's Family
Hard.
Values is also very good.
It's the best sequel of all time.
It's one of the best sequels of all time. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the
Well,
Two Towers is up there, but
After
and
Spider-Man
Gremlins
2,
too.
I mean, come on, let's be real.
Joan
Gremlins.
Spider-Man
Cusack's
2.
performance for the ages.
almost
Sorry.
everyone is good in Spider-Man 2. JK, you know, your character really got to do so many different things. You start off, you know, the party guy, murderous, and that really open-hearted conversation that you have in your backyard. Like that was really, really moving. That's what appealed to you about it, you said.
Well, yeah, I mean, mostly what appealed to me about it is getting to wear a lot of different costumes. Because I'm just all about the clothes, as people who've worked with me know.
Yeah.
So
You're an
even
outside in actor, right?
yeah, always. I kept pitching hair. Speaking of outside in, you know, different toupees, different like kind of John Turturro ways we could go with it, but those kept getting knocked down. So
I want to give sorry, go ahead.
So nothing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to give a shout out to some of the extended cast as well. Connor O'Malley
Yes, please.
makes me laugh.
Connor
so hard.
O'Malley is not possible. He is so funny. I could not keep my shit together every single take with Connor.
Yeah, so
The things that fly out of his mouth are like from outer space. They are so funny.
He's an intense individual.
yeah, nobody has that tone. Nobody does that.
No, the thing that's crazy about Connor is that he's so mellow when he's not performing.
Yeah.
Like, and then the craziest shit you've ever heard comes out of his mouth. And you yell cut, and he's like, "Yeah, things are pretty good, you know." Whoa.
Yeah.
Like that UFC
centered.
fighter who's such
Yeah.
But no, the whole extended cast is incredible.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
is
you guys have a really, really great cast.
And I feel
Well,
like,
and that was such a great combination. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I feel like every single person, like really from no matter, like you can see that character's life off screen within the performance of that person, which is
Right,
like
and that was-
incredible. Yeah.
One of the things that I was so happy about finally seeing, you know, the finished product was how much we care about Andy and Allison's characters and about, but about like everybody, you know, and which speaks obviously to the, you know, to all facets of it, the writing and the directing and the acting, the great cast that they were able to get for this thing.
Yeah.
I really loved the dinosaurs. How did that happen? Like that's such a great genius left field thing.
It
So
was
cool.
in the script from
Yeah.
the second I saw it. It was always one of my favorite things in
Me
there.
too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Talk about it, Ciara.
Dinosaurs. Well, you could look at it like you have two characters who don't believe love, either giving love or feeling love is possible in that moment, and so they see something that is impossible because they are feeling the impossible. Those dinosaurs. Or I also just the whole time I was writing this movie, I was like, maybe if this ever happens, this could be the only movie I ever make. And so there has to be dinosaurs in it.
Sure.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And the movie came in under budget and you guys were like, what can we spend money on?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I have a question from an audience member. Randy asks, the meta aspect of the storytelling was one of my favorite parts. Do you feel like you needed to acknowledge that this type of story has been done before? Was that part of the fun?
Yes, definitely. Part of what I was so excited about when I read it was that the script subtextually assumes that the audience is as well versed in this stuff as we are and has seen, you know, the other time loop stuff. And because of that, you're able to start, excluding Kristen, who's seen nothing and doesn't count.
I've not seen Groundhog's Day, so when I read it, I was like, so, I've
She's
never
like,
seen
"Wow,
anything
this is
like this.
incredible."
I was like, this is wild.
You still haven't. I'm so sorry to do this. It's Groundhog Day, not Groundhog's Day. But
Oh, well, Bill Murray must have felt a chill just now. I mean, sorry. No, but you're right. Someone worked really hard on it. It's Groundhog Day.
You gotta
I hear
see it. It's great. Okay,
I'm
anyway,
not-
sorry.
Do you still think Adam's Family Values is better than that, though?
I don't even have to see it to know that's true.
Yeah.
Of course.
Anyways, the answer to Randy's question is yes, it was intentional. It was in CR's original script, and I think we even leaned into it a little more as we went along because we found it really funny. And especially in that one scene where she asks Niles, you know, what is this? And there's it's one of those time loop situations you might have heard about, stuff like that.
Right.
Which ironically
Right.
she hasn't, the actress or the character. So,
I know she was not acting there. It was just pure
Yeah,
like,
she's
I
not
don't
in it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling when I was watching Edge of Tomorrow. I was like, why doesn't Tom Cruise just say, it's like Groundhog Day? You know that movie? I'm in Groundhog Day. There was one of the ways that it is different is that it really really engages with the science of it. In that, you know, Groundhog Day, this fantasy thing happens and he's just sort of doing it. Here, you guys really get into, Kristen's character really gets into like the nitty gritty of trying to solve it like scientifically and get out of it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that, Ciara?
Well, the initial kind of jumping off point, once we cracked the time loop thing, I was thinking like, okay, in all these movies, the time loop movies, the character figures out the meaning of life or their own problems or what they think the meaning of life is, and they're gifted a way out of the loop. And so I asked myself, okay, well, let's say this person figures out what he thinks the meaning of life is, and no, you just truly stuck here and there's absolutely no way out of this loop. And so what do the next 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 years look like? And therefore, in the script that got to Andy initially, it was never a way out of a loop at all, because it kind of broke the original, you know, jumping off point. But then after working with Andy and Becky and Kiva, we realized you can you know, bolster up that third act a little bit. And one of the first things Andy said to me in our first meeting, he's like, I have an image of he didn't say it like this, like as stupid as this, but I have an image of Krista or of Sarah walking into the cave strapped with C4. And even simply when he said that, it was like, oh yeah, this is the nice pairing. This is no longer the $50,000 movie in one location. But I'm glad that he's giving me permission to like kind of go down that route. And I think that like those few months when we were kind of developing it further with Andy, realizing we should try to find a way out, we, you know, had that was the I guess theory we had. If you can go in there and blow it up with C4, then how is a way to, you know, what's some scientific evidence to kind of support that theory? And again, we don't know if it works or not to get out of the loop, but that's their theory. So what's the scientific evidence that can, you know, support that? And then, you know, we had an advisor come on and tell us we were, you know, near the mark or
a guy named Clifford Johnson who also consults on some Marvel movies. I say that like that because you're in one, Camille. And he actually helped a lot, and Andy ended up writing a lot of explanation that really tracked, you know, like within the context of the world we were creating.
It was really good. It was really, really like a 5-page monologue that I
And
spent
Kristen-
a long time on.
But I did. That it took me days to learn days.
She did memorize it, and we did shoot it, and much of it did get edited because as it turns out, as in high school, people don't want to hear that.
Nobody cares. When I saw the cut for the first time before we went to Sundance, like that scene came up and it was literally like, it was like out of The Simpsons. It was like a bit from The Simpsons. And it was me turning around being like, and that's how we get out of the loop. And there'd been like 7 pages of me talking about like, the thing is that when on the Cauchy horizon, if you get like, it was like all quantum physics stuff, but yeah, no one cared.
I will say, speaking personally, talking to Clifford about that stuff, I was in heaven. It was so fun. He's just like, well, if you make it that the anomaly is something not of this earth, then you don't have to explain it because it's literally that, an anomaly. You don't know what it is. Like that.
Dude, my wife wants to see that scene for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious too. Yeah, no, I love that stuff. I read A Brief History of Time, and about halfway through it stopped making sense to me. I actually went back and was like, were some pages stuck together? Did I miss something? Here,
Halfway through, that's pretty good.
yeah, I got halfway through. When it gets to string theory, I'm like, I
Yeah.
know what a string is, but I only know one kind of string.
I'm more into
Here's
the
one more.
string cheese incident theory.
Love a jam band reference.
Yeah, it wasn't
Here
a good
is
joke.
a question from BB.
Okay, baby.
How did the actors mentally keep track of the day continuity while shooting? How did you organize it in your mind?
Yeah.
Did you sometimes get confused about which version of the day it was?
I think Kristen should answer BB.
I had like a very intense I have likened it to like the shed in A Beautiful Mind, like series of notated script that was like, in this, these are the things that have happened, this is like the levels, this is what's happening, here's what you know, here's what you like, just scribbled, and it was always hidden somewhere, like either in a drawer or in like a tote bag under the bed, that I could like just like flip through and be like, right, I just want to make sure. But sorry, Andy, you go. I have other things to add, but
JK, do you have anything?
I would just sit in the makeup chair and read the day's sides and go, all right.
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 When you got gravitas and chops like you
got
can pretty much
gravitas
just
and
show up.
chaps.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was not nearly as involved in the intrigue, to the extent that
Yeah.
you guys were, and that ultimately the audience is,
Right.
So I mean, it was much more straightforward for me.
Right.
I was saying earlier, or in other like when we've been asked this question, that like something that I found that I was very neurotic about was that actually like tracking. It wasn't so much the same day stuff. It was that first 15 minutes of the film, which is like sort of a misdirect about what you're watching. That if you go back and see that it still makes sense that they've both gone through what they've gone through. That like
Right.
that honors that it's not just like we're in like a thing, that actually like if you look in there, it hopefully shows you what has just happened and what you're about to find, like that you find out much later.
Yeah.
I felt like I was way more neurotic about that than
I feel like I was tracking it much more through the two main characters' relationship arcs and their sort of adverse movement than I was on a like day basis. So I would sort of track it as like, this is when he doesn't care and he's broken. This is when he's starting to fall in love with her.
Right.
This is when he thinks he's lost her. Like giving it more of like an actual romantic comedy arc, truly.
Right.
And it's just, and hers actually I think is trickier because it starts off as like a meet cute rom-com thing and then turns into you're stuck in a fucking time loop.
Right.
Right.
And for me, I'm just like, yeah, I already knew we were stuck in a time loop. So it's more of a slow burn on my side.
Right. And Kristen, your character has like a pretty big reveal
Right.
towards
Well,
the middle of the movie that kind of changes how you see her.
exactly. And that, I think I was very like what's so horrible for her, obviously it's horrible to be stuck in a time loop anyway, but that she's sort of forced to repeat one of the worst days of her life, and that's who you're actually meeting at the top of the film, is someone who has just had one of the worst days of their life, and it's their fault. And like what but you're also like yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just like short.
No,
suck.
that's very good.
Yeah.
That's very, very well put. Final question from the audience: has the pandemic also felt like you are living the same day over and over again?
No.
That's from Bill. No, each
Kristen's
day's
good.
different.
Kristen's good. For me,
Kristen's
yes.
like, oh, rest of the life could be pandemic. It's fine.
I haven't taken off this T-shirt since March.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Why would I?
Yeah. No, of course. Oh gosh.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was so strange. I feel like there's a lot of projects that have had this where it sort of accidentally coincides with stuff that's happened since, and obviously that wasn't what we thought was going to be the case. We thought we'd be living in a relatively normal world with open movie theaters and hopefully people would just find the movie and enjoy it. But in a lot of ways, it drew more attention to the movie, which was really nice, especially for a smaller indie like this. And it gave people something to write about. you know,
Yeah.
sort of drawing that connection, the loop aspect of it to the fact that we're all stuck at home. But yeah,
So
there's definitely been a lot of moments where you're like, yeah, this is the same day. I'm still in this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna, you know what? I was gonna ask about Nana, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna ask about Nana because I think that's for us to figure out.
Yeah.
I wanna thank you guys for doing this here. There's an ending. I think there's a sign off I'm gonna read. Okay, I'm gonna read the sign off, but I don't know. I want to see if the sign off says thank you to you guys, or if I should thank you before I read it.
Well, while you're reading, can I just say thank you, Kumail?
Yeah. Thank you.
Indeed,
Oh.
thank you ever so much.
Appreciate
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having. I just was like, I just love this movie so much. You know, it's and obviously I've been in a place of high anxiety, and watching it on Friday was like, I texted Andy immediately, just like really made me feel better, and then made me feel worse when I was like, wow, that's really good. What am I gonna do?
I will say getting
Good marketing there too. Yeah.
Getting that text saying I was very jealous and it made me feel kind of sad and mad. I'm like, ooh, I relate to that. That means it is good. We're really on to something.
Well, thank you for making the movie. Thanks for talking to me, Kristen, Andy, JK. Have a good rest of your day. And the movie is streaming now on Hulu, Palm Springs. If you're watching this and have not seen the movie, what are you doing?
What are you
Go watch
doing?
the movie first.
Yeah. What are you? Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.